athletes and fans of bodybuilding around the world. Welcome to another Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by these two legends of the sport. Tarek El-Guindy, hello, my friend.
Fantastic to be here, Tim. I'm excited. Olympia is coming up. We're just a few months away, or maybe a few weeks away from the Olympia. And as Sean Ray, who's a Hall of Famer bodybuilder, once said, when the rubber meets the road.
Well, it is getting about to meet the road here very shortly. We have to ask Chris Cormier. Chris, this is a very interesting thing because a lot of times we talk about how stylish you are, how the clothes are popping. They're always popping. But there's another thing popping right now, the jawline. The famous Cormier jawline is coming back in.
Oh, yeah.
So you're off at these camps like you were in Dubai with the best of the best and the up-and-comers. Kuwait. Yeah. And you do a little training and dieting yourself.
I have to, man. You got to do it with the fellas, you know. I feel like when I go to camp like that, I mean, there's nothing to do but train and eat and have some fun. When we can, go to the mall or something, but yeah, man.
So
I get in my best shape.
The 6 to 8 weeks out from the Olympia, what can we expect? How ready are you going to be?
I'm going to go for the gaunt look.
Okay.
Old school gaunt.
Death face.
Cheeks, yeah. Yeah, cheeks. Cheekbones can be prominent.
Going for some cheeks. All right, well, here we are, folks. We are covering a lot of the battles, and there are certain pros and certain people with that Olympia title, that medal around their neck, that we feel like have just a firm grasp on their division. But there's a couple up-and-comers that we want to compare as we do these next few episodes. Talking about one in particular, Andrea Shaw, who's been dominant in women's bodybuilding, and Ashley Jones, who qualified about 4 months ago. Chris, you have notes.
Oh, yeah. Ashley Jones. I mean, the thing that stands out to me with her, she's 5 foot tall, 145 pounds on stage. So if you can imagine, she came from figure, a place really well figure, had a second in the Chicago Pro, had a Texas. She went on to go to women's physique. She won the Texas. Didn't compete in Olympia that year, but I mean, took off, came back and won in New York. I mean, she won open bodybuilding in New York, so I mean that puts her in a driver's seat to challenge for the title. I mean, I'm saying she's challenging for the title as far as the second place and third place from last year. I mean, this girl she stands to improve a little bit, and I think she's going to do that.
Well, she was 7th last year, Tarek, and she's got, between 7th and 1st is a lot of people. You've got Angela Yo, who you like a lot, Teresa Ivancic, Latova,
Natalia Kovaleva. We got, Heli Trevino was in Brazil. We got Leivina from Brazil. Well, Tim, Ashley Jones is a very interesting prospect. A few years ago, she competed in the women's physique category, and she placed 12th. And right after the Olympia, I do the competitors to watch. And she was one of them, even though she placed 12th, because of her genetics. Genetics in bodybuilding, folks, is just like being 6'8", 6'9" in the NBA. Okay, if you're 6'8", 6'9", your chances of playing in the NBA are a lot higher than a guy like me at 5'10". If you have genetics like Ashley Jones and Andrea Shaw, then you're halfway there. She doesn't have the size that Andrea Shaw has. She's smaller, but so is Angela Yo. Angela Yo has the conditioning. She's got better lines.
Yes.
If this one here, who's been very dominant, the 4-time Miss Olympia, misses her conditioning, and Ashley Jones comes in with the beautiful lines with great conditioning, then Chris might be right, because he said to me on the phone, and now he's scared.
I did not say
now
nothing.
He's scared.
I didn't talk to you on the phone.
Now you're scared.
I did not talk to you on the phone.
Because I got your message when you sent me a video.
Okay.
He goes, Tarek,
I said she's going to challenge for it. She's going to challenge.
She's going to win the Olympia.
I didn't say she's going to.
I have it on my phone, and I said,
Well, you're going to have to show the receipts.
Do you think she's going to beat
You're
Andrea?
going to have to show the receipts.
And he goes, yeah.
Chris, talk to us.
I talked to Andrea. I did some digging, if you will. And and she says she thinks Ashley has a great physique. She spoke to her 2 years ago. She said, but her prep is going really well. She's going to focus on detail and conditioning while keep maintaining her fullness. And she thinks it's really exciting for bodybuilding to have Ashley Jones in bodybuilding and, raising the stakes when it comes to, who's going to win that championship.
Let me ask you this, Chris, because you talk about her size at 5 foot. But what do you think the ratio is? For men, typically, Tarek, to be competitive from one person to the next, it's 10 pounds per inch. So if you're 5'6" and a guy's 6 foot, you got to have another 30, 40 pounds of muscle on to be the same guy. What do you think that is for women?
I'm not sure what it is for women, but what I do know, when this girl poses, her body opens up. She's a very, very tiny girl. I was surprised to see how tiny she was, but she's getting ready for the Phoenix, so they're both going to be in that show together.
Rising Phoenix.
Rising Phoenix. Well, let's give it a look here, fellas, and do some comparisons. We've got them center stage.
See, yeah. I mean, you obviously see the bigger body with the champion. She actually has her shape is going to be great next to Ashley, but I'm just hoping she's going to improve in her conditioning and add a little bit in the back, her back. Her back needs a little bit of more depth at this point. And I feel like, if Ashley can just get past the, Angie Yo, and she can get past her, then I think, it's going to be up to her going shot for shot with the champ. And as you see right here in the side chest, they're comparable right here because you can't see the size difference. They're not actually together, but you can see that she has everything that she needs. A lot of bubbly muscle going on here in that side chest, and as they both set up for that shot, the champ's going to have to do her due diligence.
Tarek, walk us through some judging here. I'm looking at that far left delt, and as you look across that clavicle, some good muscle definition and some deep muscle bellies in that left. Everything is so big across the entire breadth of the clavicle that you love to share with
Tim,
us.
I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial. First of all, I want to give credit to a lot of the women's bodybuilding. 5-10 years ago, we didn't have women's bodybuilding at the Mr. Olympia. Right now, we have a plethora of great competitors. We just don't have Andrea Shaw. We have Angela Yo. We have Natalia Kovaleva. We have Leivina from Brazil. We have Alcione from Brazil. And Ashley Jones joins this group along with other competitors. I'm going to say something controversial. If there's one thing that you might say about Andrea Shaw, is that the lats might be a little high. You can see here on the front double biceps. She's got the incredible arms. She's got more mass than Ashley Jones right here. You see the lats are a bit high. I know this is different poses, but you can see here on Ashley Jones that the lats are a little bit lower on Ashley Jones, and you can even see that on the back double biceps. Excuse me. She has more muscle, but it looks like the lats are a little bit lower on Ashley Jones. That's how good her genetics are compared to Andrea Shaw.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to say, just 1 second, I'm not going to say she has better genetics than Andrea Shaw, because having the ability of gaining size is part of your genetic makeup. What I'm saying is she might even have better lines than Andrea, while Andrea has tremendous capability of adding muscular development.
Yeah, they both came from the figure division and up to bodybuilding, but bodybuilding is muscle insertions, size, the way it all transfers to their physique. And Tarek is right. The back double bicep, you can see there's a little bit more drop in the lats right here.
Now,
with Ashley.
walk us, Chris, from stay here with us and then just glance over there. We're not hitting the same pose in a few of these pictures. Like it's not that front knee, so you can see the ham sweep and the top of the quad. But now, looking to the right on the front poses, it looks like Ashley's got a little bit bigger quads, and then on this back pose, there's definitely a lot more pop and sweep on the top of the quad.
Yeah, I mean that glute is powerful.
Yeah,
with the quad there, and yeah, the quad's going to be, she's actually a shorter physique, but they do stand to pop when they have a little bit shorter muscle to
that
deal
Clarita
with.
effect.
Yeah, exactly. That Clarita effect with that shorter physique here. It's going to be a great contest. We're going to get a sneak peek at the Olympia at the Rising Phoenix. That's where you're going to see the top girls in the world, and they all vying for that title. The champion wants to win it, and she said she'll still be eight weeks out from Rising Phoenix to the Olympia, and she's using that as a measuring stick to see what's going to come in the Olympia.
Which is fun.
Yeah, well, what I have to say is this. We've seen them compete, and we know that they're very competitive against each other. We know that they have the ability to fight for the title. My thing is this, and I don't say this lightly, because in New York, Ashley Jones beat Levina, and Levina is bigger than Ashley Jones. Actually, just a few segments ago, we were talking about Levina being a threat to Andrea Shaw, and Ashley Jones beat her in New York head-to-head. My point is Ashley Jones a threat to the Miss O title? And I'm going to say this, Tim Wilkins, Chris Cormier, yes. Yes, she is a threat. She is a threat to the title. I think she has the ability of taking down the champion, just like Chris can take down his phone. Yep. She has the ability of taking down.
Actually, it was not me.
Who was it?
That was actually my mic.
Man, always blaming you.
But you always go for the brother.
Always blaming you.
You're always looking at the brother for the noise.
Always blaming you.
Well, guys, I don't know
brother.
how much of a threat she's going to be. I will say New York Pro this year, she was vastly improved from the year before. And one of the great things, Chris, and I'll have you touch on this real quick, is from the Rising Phoenix to the Olympia, that's a lot of time to make improvement with detail. You're not gaining a lot of mass in those 8 weeks,
right,
but you can really dial in that conditioning and detail.
Oh, yes, and like I say, it's a measuring stick. You can see, what worked, what didn't work, what you can fix, what you can change. Not a whole lot is going to change with the size, but you can increase your detail and improve your posing, everything like that, which can go up or down for you in the standings.
Well, this year's 60th Olympia, it is going to be a battle across all divisions. No one's safe. You got to bring your best and defend those titles, ladies. And we'll see how much of a threat to Andrea Shaw's reign Ashley Jones will be. And we've got more to cover on this year on this Primetime Muscle. All right, we're back, and we have got a storm brewing in Bikini this year. We've talked about this. Guys, I took some flack on the social media for how excited I was for Amy Delgado's wins. I had a couple people pipe up and go, Jennifer Dory, man, back down, back down.
Kick it down a notch.
Take it down a notch. I said she won 2 or 3 shows back to back. Give me a break. Tarek, you're kind of, this is one of your domains here, judging Bikini.
Well, I don't think you win the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro and you're not a threat. I think she is a threat based on what she's done. Last year, she was disappointed at her result at the Mr. Olympia because she had the same type of momentum. She had won the New York Pro and the Pittsburgh, and she ended up in 6th place, which was not what she wanted. She wanted a top 3 fighting for the title right there. At this year, she is like, it's now or never. I've won these shows, and I want to be compared to Jennifer Dory and Laura Lee Chapados. By the way, I don't know why Chris didn't put Laura Lee on the topics. But anyways, Jennifer Dory is now Jennifer Dory is now reaching her peak, her physical peak. I think a few years ago she was placing really well at the Olympia, winning shows. Right now she has a fullness to her. That's what makes Jennifer Dory so good. She has a fullness to her physique, which is very unique. You just don't get at that high level. At the high level, what happens? All these girls, they come and they get conditioned, and then they lose their fullness. You never see...
Isa Pacini.
Yes. You never see Jennifer Dory losing her fullness. And when she's full and she's conditioned, my man, she's hard. But I'm telling you, Amy Lynn Delgado, I'm speculating here, but I think this year she might not be out of the top 5. I think this year she might be in the top 5. I think she's really coming close.
Amy Delgado. Let me give a shout out, if I can get it right, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community she is a part of.
Nice.
All right then. Shout out to you guys. And they're based out of here, out of Arizona. So this community is strong here. She's very proud of her heritage. And you know, Tarek is right. She took 6th in Olympia. She was not happy with 6th. I'm sure a lot of girls would be happy with 6th. She was not happy. She's been 6th there twice. But she also won the New York and the Pittsburgh twice. And no other girl's done that. So let's say, you know, she checked all the boxes off. She did what all the judges wanted over the last couple of years, made a lot of adjustments. And, I mean, a former USA champion overall like myself, you got to give her she's got the red lipstick going with the red suit. Popping. And at the Arnold Classic, she had a 1-point difference with
Laura
Lee.
Yeah.
With Laura Lee, she was a 1-point difference there. And she's very proud of that, and she wants to take that momentum on in to the Olympia.
That's a ton of momentum. Well, Tarek, and this is the thing, I always have to give it to the judges. We're going to do some comparisons here. How you guys, you are literally at this level picking minutia with the top 3 and 5 and 6 and 10 at the Olympia.
I'm going to say this, and I've judged a lot of bikini shows. I was there when Amy turned pro. I'm going to say that at this point, this last Olympia title, Jennifer Dory came up to me and said, how did I look? And I didn't even want to say anything to her because she looked so incredible that, I mean, Jennifer Dory's physique in 2023 was the greatest bikini presentation we've ever seen. If she shows up that same way, it's going to be very hard for anybody, okay? Her problem is that sometimes she gets a little paranoid and she comes in a little bit too conditioned. Her fullness is what does it. What happens here is this. These girls are very, very good at looking at other girls and comparing themselves. Amy Lynn Delgado had a smaller frame. She knew that in order to get her fullness close to Jennifer Dory, she needed to gain muscle. Jennifer Dory is a bigger structure. She can carry more muscle. Amy has a smaller structure, so she started packing in muscle on the legs, muscle on the glutes, containing the muscle on top. Now, she has plenty of muscle for her frame. One of the down things is, a lot of times people say, oh, Amy's getting a bit too muscular. She's kind of brought it back a little bit. But she knows the game. Amy Lynn Delgado knows the game. And she knows that this girl has fullness, and she needs to come in with a little bit more muscle to go head to head with her.
Now, Chris, I'm going to ask you both on this one too. It might be a pose, might be the time we try to counsel the bikini competitors away from getting too striated, too lean, too ripped, too conditioned. We're seeing a little bit of striation in that delt. We're seeing a lot of pop in that glute. Is she right there? Don't go any farther. Just dial this in.
Yeah, but she that was at the Olympia last year, but she made the changes and get the fullness. I'm going to piggyback what Tarek said. She increased the fullness in her glutes and right above her upper hamstring area right there. And I think she has tinkered with her look enough and improved over last year. And I think that's going to be what she needs to go in. Now, all these girls talk to the judges. They all get feedback. And they go to work on what the judges want from them. And they all seem, the top three that I spoke to, they all seem to have down exactly what they want to do and how they're going to attack this year's Olympia.
Well, you talk about refinement. Jennifer Dory has been competing at the Olympia. You look at the abdominal section. It's flat, but it's not diced. Okay? That's perfection right there. Here with Amy, she needs to flatten out just a little bit. It's like you said, Tim, it's minute. Now, if you look at the back pose, my man, it's not going to get any better than Jennifer Dory. But I give a lot of credit to Amy Lynn Delgado. She kind of took down a little bit of the conditioning here because the line was a little bit too prominent. And at the New York Pro and at the Pittsburgh Pro, she had fullness and the line became softer. She's getting close. Amy Lynn Delgado is getting close. The challenge is that Jennifer Dory, she's so good.
Yeah, Amy's a mother. I mean, letting the ladies know that you can have a baby and you can snap back to be in tip-top bikini shape and be one of the best in the world at bikini. But, I mean, she's been remarkable, like making her glutes fuller. This whole look is way improved from these photos. And I can't wait to see these girls go head-to-head at the Olympia.
We see a lot of great bounce back. You look at Angelica Teixeira, and that was a big layoff. What, 4 or 5 years with the two kids?
Yeah, maybe 4 years. And Chris brings a good point. A lot of people come to us and say, "Oh my God, I have kids, I can't compete." Or some people say, "Well, I'm not gonna have kids because my career is gonna be destroyed if I have kids." And I'm like, what are you talking about? You are so wrong. Here's the deal. Franciele Matos won all her Olympias after she had kids. Amy Lynn Delgado is peaking in her career after she had kids. We know a lot of people that have had kids come back. It doesn't change your body. You don't look like your waist is 3 times the size. She's got a small waist. Franciele Matos has a small waist. So obviously, you take a break. There's a big change in your body because of the birth. But eventually, your body comes back to what it was original, and you can compete and win titles. So I give a lot of credit to Amy, Franciele Matos, and all the moms that compete.
Well, we're going to have quite the battle, and as much a momentum as Amy's bringing into the Olympia, you're going to have a bunch of former Olympians there. You've got Maureen Blanquisco coming back for sure. You got Jennifer. Ashley, multiple-time Olympian, and potentially Isa.
No, Isa is going to be there.
Okay.
Angelica said she's going to be there. Daraja.
She just announced she's having a baby.
She's having a baby. Which, congratulations, Daraja. I'm sure she's going to have the baby. It's going to be a blast. But don't be surprised. She might come back in a few years and be competing. And, Maria Acosta. That's a name I want you guys to write it. Write it down. Write it down, Chris.
Maria Acosta.
Maria Acosta.
It's pretty.
She's won.
How you spell that last name?
Acosta.
Acosta. Maria Acosta, okay?
Thank you.
Mark my words, okay? Maria Acosta has won 2 pro shows this year, okay? And I think she might be right there at the Olympia top 10 making an appearance. Maria Acosta. Back to you, Tim Wilkins.
Thank you, Tarek. All right, we've covered women's bodybuilding, covered bikini, and we've got wellness with possibly a 3-way battle going on. And we'll talk about that when we come back.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
All right, it's getting weller by the day, gentlemen. Wellness. We've got Francielle Matos, as you love to say, has been dominant, has been the go-to physique on stage to pattern the division after. Each person that wins the Olympia is basically the gold standard for the next year, and she's held that title for a couple years. Now you've got Isa Pereira and someone who's just coming back with a vengeance, Gisele Machado.
Gisele Machado, my teammate from Yava Labs, from Dark Sport, Wolves. I mean, I've known her. I've been on the road with her. I've said this many times before. She is a force to reckon with because of her tenacity in the gym and her going after it when nothing else. She's going to the gym, going to the gym, going to the gym. And I like that about her. She took second at Pittsburgh this year and won the New York Pro. And, you know, when you win that New York Pro, that's a very prestigious show. And, you know, Steve Weinberg puts on a great show every year there. And I feel like that's going to give her a lot of confidence in trying to move up this year. I asked her what she planned to improve, and she just wants to, you know, improve the hamstrings a little bit. And you know, I think the glutes are going to be there. But I think she don't really need to do too much. And, you know, a little bit more quad sweep would be great. But she's right there. Just, I think it's going to be all about her posing and how she presents herself.
You know this division better than anybody.
Well, you know, funny enough, I'm going to give myself credit. When we went down to Brazil 2018, yes, I judged the first person in the NPC to judge a wellness show in the United States was Gary Udit at the Olympia once the separation happened. I was the first judge to judge an NPC show wellness. So I know this division, I know all these competitors, and I'm going to tell you this. Isa Pereira lost the Olympia by 1 point to Francielle Matos. There's a bit of tension there, okay? Francielle Matos went to the Arnold and said, 1 point? Girl. And she brought her best. Isa Pereira is not happy about Francielle Matos' response. Elisa Alcântara, I call her the Brazilian nightmare. Because a lot of people come to me and say, oh, the Brazilians are winning everything. There's no way to beat the Brazilians. Please, be calm with what you say, because look at her. She's from Dominican Republic, and she's beaten plenty of Brazilians, okay? Brazilians are not the only ones that have glutes. A lot of people in this planet have glutes. And then you have Gisele Machado. From Pittsburgh to New York, she made the perfect modifications to beat Elisa Alcântara. The key question is, who is the biggest threat? And I'm going to make a statement that's very assertive. Can I stand up, Tim?
Absolutely. Show us those Brazilian glutes.
Okay. I love Isa Pereira. Lost the Olympia by 1 point. I love Gisele Machado. She won the New York Pro. But genetically speaking, this person, this human being from the Dominican Republic, Elisa Alcântara, is the closest thing to Francielle Matos. I know her coach very well, Panain. She's the one that can squeeze Francielle and possibly win. Now, I could be very wrong. Isa can go there and knock the champion out. Gisele Machado, man, Gisele is very competitive. She told Elisa Alcântara backstage at the New York Pro, hey, I know we gotta pretend to be friends, but right now we're enemies. She said that backstage to Elisa Alcântara. So she's very competitive.
I like that.
This is the one that genetically can go farther than anybody against Franciele Matos.
Now, Ricardo Panain, for people that don't know, is basically the Kim Odo or Jamie DeBernard of women's wellness.
Correct. He is, bar none, Ricardo Panain is the best coach in Brazil. This guy in 2019, he was voted the best coach in the world. Men and women. He won the Bikini with Isa Pessini. He won plenty of titles. He's the coach of Elisa Alcântara. He's the coach of Franciele Matos. When Isa Pessini won the event, he was the coach. So he is, in Brazil, the most respected coach for female athletes.
Well, that's great. I mean, I spoke to Isa also. I did some digging, and I tell you, they don't think they need to do too much. Just more glute volume, more technical presentation, a little bit more conditioning, but not changing too much. She's happy with her package. I think if she improved her presentation, I think that's one thing I saw. It just, I don't know, it just kind of, at the Arnold, it just kind of like cemented that, Franciele was going to win the show. But, going into this show, a little bit more glute volume on this girl, I think that's going to be the thing. Because when I see Franciele backstage, you can see the dominant glute. You can see, even in the gym, you can see the dominant glute. It looks like, I don't know,
Like
I don't know.
two people wrestling under a blanket in Central Park.
Two puppies fighting.
Yeah.
Two puppies fighting under there. And, but there's some other ones. There's some dark horses, if you will. Tiffany Sam Rossi, 24 years old. She is a beast in the gym. She's 143 pounds. She was fourth in the Pittsburgh last year, second.
She won the Atlantic Coast IMC'd that show. She was
Yes.
one of the first ones qualified for this year's Olympia.
Yes, she was one of the first ones. She was seventh last year, and she's looking to move up also into that top five. And she's gearing up she's doing a couple shows this year.
Her off-season quads were massive.
Yeah, she's another one. And I have another dark horse, Chen Qi, 28 years old, actually from China. And for a Chinese girl to come from Bikini and to dip into the last 3 years of training, she won the Optimum Classic this year, so she's qualified for the Olympia. And she's been taking the last 3 years, building her glutes, building her quads. She's going to enter Camp Cormier in August, so if you can imagine what that can look like. She's actually with George Farah as her dieting coach, but I think Camp Cormier can bring out the best in her, and she might get a top 10 finish.
So George will be on that diet, and you'll be working those intensity exercises that bring out the fine lines
she
and
needs
details.
a little bit more glutes. She has the quads. She needs more hamstrings and glutes, and I think you can see a new star is born from China, if you will.
Well, Qingqiu Liu, she's from China. Incredibly enough, I remember judging her as a bikini competitor in Brazil in 2018, and now she's wellness, but she gained a lot of muscle. And now she had to tone it back, tone it down.
She was holding it. I mean, it was hard for her to make the bikini look with those Chinese quads jumping off.
Yeah.
And I mean that with all sincerity and respect.
Yeah.
Chinese quads.
Those quads, they got
Chinese
some
quads.
They got some quads. All the Chinese have some quads, dog. Men and women.
Oh, yeah.
They bring some quads.
Chinese quads. No,
It goes back hundreds of years to the Quad Dynasty.
that's
You
how
don't
they
know.
build the Chinese wall with those quads.
Chinese squad.
From the waist, each brick. Hey, Tarek, I got to point out before we wrap this. Talk about somebody bringing big improvements. Cormier. This is like, I'm sorry to be looking at you all, dude, looking at you all wide-eyed while you talk like it's the first time. But he's like that guy that partied for 3 years in college, goes, dude, it's senior year and I want to be a doctor. Holy shit, I gotta start
so
studying,
funny.
man.
He's found Jesus.
I don't know what it is, but I'll take
He's
it.
found Jesus.
It's the shirt.
It's the
It's
shirt.
the shirt.
He's found Jesus.
It's the shirt. Y'all digging the shirt?
You know what
You didn't
I
say
mean?
nothing about the shirt all day.
Spring has sprung.
He's
Got
found
the
Jesus.
sunflowers on.
He's a Leo. He's found Jesus.
Yeah, let me take a look at the fit. Let me get a look at the fit.
I gotta show the kicks.
Pan
too, buddy.
in. Come on, pan in, pan in, pan
Show
in.
the kicks too, Chris.
Pan in.
Look at the shoes. Put the
Can
camera
you
on the
come
shoes.
down?
Lift a leg,
Can
buddy.
you come down? I don't
Come
see you coming
down,
down.
come
I don't see
down.
you coming down.
Come
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Come
the
down.
red bottoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, from bikini to women's bodybuilding to wellness, we have a lot of great physiques, improving year over year and bringing it all to a head in Las Vegas. We got the VIP sold out. There's a watch party at Zook. There's so much going on.
Watch party at Zook.
Watch party at Zook. We're going to be working, man.
Let's
It's all
go.
right.
That's where I'm going.
Hey, you should go.
I'm gonna go.
All right. As always, the one and only Tarek Gindi.
Great to be here. Love the shoes.
Comment on the shoes. Comment on the socks.
Like,
everything.
subscribe,
The
comment.
Versace belt.
Tell us your thoughts on everybody we covered. Legendary Chris Cormier, guys, the real deal.
Real deals in the house.
Tim Wilkins, as always, thank you so much for joining us on Primetime Muscle. We'll see you next time.